it. Here they come. Pat Micheletti at PatMick2626 via the tweet machine. He is Minnesota Hockey Immortality, for he is on the mural at Mariucci, and he joins us now. Our beloved Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
Kings here tonight at 7.
Yep.
Oh, wait a second. He's not Commander Flynn anymore. I can't remember his title. But
5 in a row for the, or 5 or 6 in a row for the Kings.
Yeah. I have St. Paul Blue sent me a text this morning.
Yes.
So whenever we bring up the Wild, I feel it behooves us to share this.
I think he's deputy chief now, maybe?
Deputy Chief TF, because there is a PA in public service announcement. And let's see. If you're going to the Wild game tonight, there will be road closures affecting traffic to said game.
West 7th?
Yep. Fans should allow for extra time if attending the game tonight, says the old deputy chief. West 7th will be closed between Walnut and Kellogg from noon until 1 in the morning.
Oh.
West 7th closed between Walnut and Kellogg from noon until 1 in the morning. So all you hockey-loving State of Hockey rubes heading to the game tonight, take note of that, and we thank the deputy chief. He's DC. Yeah, you know we. Our beloved Wild Kings here tonight at 7. It's the 5th of 7 consecutive at home for our guys. So far, we've housed 3 of a possible 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
7th best in the West, 6 points clear of the Couve and St. Louis for the final postseason spot.
Mm-hmm.
Still down our best 2 players, making it quite tenuous. So what's going on here, Patrick? And good morning.
Well,
you didn't say good morning.
Good morning to you. It's great to see you.
You too.
I look at it from this perspective, right? Everybody, it's negative. Well, let's look at how they can get out of this funk, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when they're in a situation like they are right now, they're really having a difficult time scoring goals. And there's got to be some guys questioning themselves in the locker room, and the fans are, everything is negative. I'm not a negative guy, PA. So let's look at the positive. How do they break out? How do they break out of it? Are they still going to make the playoffs? Yes, I think they're still going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But how are they going to get out of it? Well, we know the guys who are supposed to score are not scoring right now, at least 5-on-5.
Yeah.
So it is critical in my estimation that your special teams are very, very efficient in a time where you're having difficult time scoring goals 5-on-5. So their power play is going to be really, really key for them. And how were they good at the beginning of the year? Well, 97 and 14 were in the lineup. Yes. Okay. But they were defending really well.
Yeah.
And they gave up 5 the other night, which, is not typical of the way that they defend. So they defend better. They get their special teams. You get 1 goal on the power play and not give up 1. Man, that's one step closer to a win in my estimation.
And for mankind.
Exactly. Very good. And so I just think, because they still have the pieces on the power play. Yes, they're missing 97. We're going to miss him until he's back. But I just feel that if they can concentrate and really hone in on their special teams, there's going to be, they're going to be, it's going to be enough for them to make the playoffs. And hopefully by that time, by the last couple games, you'll see the return of the 3 guys that are out. That's my synopsis of it.
Okay. What happened Saturday night against the Blues? The fan-related vitriol was quite high.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone's frustrated because they haven't gotten a win lately. And should they have had one against the Rangers? Yeah, probably. I thought they played a better game than the Rangers. But when when you lose, what comes with losses? Negativity amongst everybody. And so that's just the reality of where they are right now. But to get out of it, it's imperative that their power play contribute especially when you're not scoring.
Right. Okay. The Kings, they're right in front of us.
Yep.
So taking 2 and giving none would be fantastic.
Yes.
So what do you, with the current state and the power outage, the points outage and the scoring outage and everything, what do you envision tonight, Pat Micheletti?
Well, you have a team coming in with, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I know 5 wins for sure, maybe 6 wins in a row for the LA Kings. So, let's talk about the 2 different teams. You got one team coming in thinking, we can't lose. Everybody believes it. We got a great attitude.
Yeah.
And you have another team trying to say, how do we get out of this? Who's it going to be? And so the attitude for Minnesota, and I think Zuccarello said the other night, they have to walk into the room with a little bit of a swagger, with a little bit of a different mindset. And if they do that, and they start to see early results in a period, good shifts here and there, then and then you follow it up. That's how you build it all back. But if it's and then you see guys in their body language, that's a good tell on how they're playing and how they're gonna play.
Patrick with the preach.
Amen, brother.
A couple of former Wild aiding the cause of the LAK.
Yep.
Kevin Fiala has 25 goals. Darcy Kemper has a goals against of 2.16, a save percentage of 91. Has Kevin Fiala, since he left, captured the imagination of SoCal Nation?
Well, I think overall, he's been solid for him. I wouldn't say great. Yes, 25 goals is very nice. However, I'd make that trade any day of the week that was made.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even close. When you have a defenseman who will win the Norris one day in Brock Faber, I think it's a no-brainer. And to get a number 1, the jury's still out on Ogren, and is he going to develop into the player that they think he can?
All he does is score every single game for Iowa.
Yeah, he's got 28 points in 29 games, 14 goals, 14 assists.
Right.
Pretty good. Can that translate up to the next level? That's what we have to wait and see on.
So our beloved Minnesota Wild is in all-out wild card mode right now. 6 behind Colorado, 8 in arrears of the Stars, and ain't nobody touching the Jets.
No.
So we're in all-out wild card mode.
No question.
Guerin, and this is something that's been discussed.
Yep.
But I want to bring it up this way and see what you say. Bill Guerin, the general manager, didn't choose long-term IR for Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek to find cap money and add pieces at the deadline. Now, by not doing that, he's playing the long game with the squad, which generally speaking, I'm a fan of.
Same here.
What exactly does that mean? Like by the long game meshed with not playing the super controversial LTIR?
Well, the long game in it is that he means he doesn't want to trade away assets that he feels are going to help him get to the cherished spot. And that is winning the Stanley Cup.
This year. Right.
So, for example, if you were going to LTIR somebody, okay, and make a run at Mikko Rantanen, pretty risky move unless you were able to sign him. All right. And then secondly, what are you giving up? What are you giving up in return for that? And secondly, what another team may want for the rights for you to obtain Rantanen might be guys that are on the have no move contracts who say, sorry, not going, can't make the deal.
Right.
And then so you end up trading maybe first rounders, future first rounders.
The short game. Right.
All for what? Now look at Colorado made big moves. Dallas made a big move, right? They get Rantanen. Colorado gets Nelson and Coyle. And,
Boston got Hustadina. Boston's going nowhere.
Yeah.
All he does is score 2 goals every single game.
You know, of course that's
Of course
good.
he does. Every single game.
Of course he does.
People are so sour on that.
Yeah, but where was he for the
Just happy I
first?
could say
Where
his
was he
name.
for the first 60 here?
Yeah.
You know, oh boy,
Figuring out how to pronounce his
right,
name.
Right,
Definitely don't know how to
right.
spell
I mean, so you have to be very careful. And then secondly, thirdly, wherever I'm at. Fourthly, you've got guys that are going to come back. So I think there's
Or
a lot.
do we?
Or do we?
Right.
Or do we?
Or do we? Russo.
That tells me we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right? And, there's stuff I think that goes on behind the scenes that, maybe Kaprizov, maybe he's telling Garrett, I'm coming back.
Right.
If I don't come back, I can't play till the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming back. Same with Eck.
That's what Paul George said after he ran into the stanchion as a member of the Indiana Pacers. We didn't see him for 3 years.
Cost me.
What happened since Thursday? Remember when we were doing Vox in the Box PA on
They
Thursday?
beat Colorado the game before.
Yes, they did.
It was hockey manna.
So we're rolling in there, and it's like, oh, you wouldn't believe it. Obviously, they're not going to get up and down the ice with these guys, so they're dictating play.
Yeah, they're dictating tempo.
They're slowing things down, and they're playing in a gritty.
Right,
they're playing
right,
their
yeah,
game,
right.
and it's the game they got to play, guys.
Neutral zone trap, be damned.
Because there's no 97, there's no 14, and Bill Guerin said they're going to be back, so I think they're going to be back, and that's the best I can do.
So,
but something changed. You get the tough point against the Rangers,
Yep.
and you're right. This weekend against the Blues, this Kyrou cat is insane.
Jordan
for the
Kyrou,
Blues. Oh,
he
he's
kills
so
us
good.
every time. We're making this a marathon. Steve's Appliance already got a pop. StevesAppliances.com. Set
love
list
Steve's.
change. We're making this a marathon because the Tocchet's playing fast. So this is a marathon before news do nord. Go ahead.
No, I just think it's all going to start with their attitude and try to flip that.
Mm-hmm.
And but that involves every player.
But their attitude was great a week ago to what Miko Nordo just said. You beat Colorado, you got to have a good attitude.
One game
They
can
were
do it, though,
dictating
right?
play, Mr. Micheletti.
Yeah,
They were
we're shutting her
dictating.
down. But that's
It was
the
an
way
awesome,
it is.
legit. That was an awesome game. After you see Crosby get 2 against you in the Penguins game to start the homestand, and you're thinking, are all of these going to be this boring, this ugly, and you're going to see the Crosbys of the world just rise to the top at the end of these games? Then you get what you got out of the Avs. That was the building piece right there. Just win at home in March, and everything is all good. And now here we are, less than a week later,
But
in
man,
Lamentations.
yeah, you give up a goal, you give up 2 goals, and then it turns.
Ugh.
And then it turns, and then you're trying too hard to make a play. All of that comes into it. You see it all the time. Especially when you're struggling a little bit,
Yep.
and then you're down, and then you're chasing, and then you're trying to make that extra play or that play, and so you get out of your element. And
Did you hear what you just said?
Yes.
But what?
What did I say?
I got to sit up now for this. What you just said, Mick Tocchet,
Posture check.
Micheletti, is that the Minnesota Wild went from jubilation and glee
Yes.
with beating Colorado to giving up 2 goals and immediately becoming of the snowflake variety,
right.
more concerned about empty buildings in San Antonio running $18 million a month and melting with that than ways to stop Kyrou.
Yeah.
You can't be that fragile.
Well, I think that happens when you have guys that are not expected to score and who are kind of get.
But Boldy and Rossi are expected to score.
Exactly, and they're not right now.
Well, how did Boldy go an entire game with just 1 shot on net? And I apologize for clipping.
No,
but to
that's
that end with
a
Boldy,
great
one
clip.
freaking shot on net the entire
that's a great
game.
clip.
Let it out.
And for me, if you were to just suit up 97 and suit up 14,
Yeah, and just put them on the bench.
There would
Intimidation factor.
Well, but psychologically,
People
to a
guessing.
guy like Boldy and Zuccarello, that they feel
West
like
7th would open itself.
it would help. Honestly, having when those guys, because right now it's like I got to
feels
score.
like
I got to score. I
Yes.
got to score. I got to score.
Yeah.
Instead of just scoring.
But see, like Russo in one of these stories I read flying back from the CO, it was like Eriksson Ek couldn't walk after a practice somewhere in February, and league-wide sources indicated, well, that's 6 to 8 weeks right there. So then you think about Feb 24 or Feb 14, whatever it was, in 6 to 8 weeks, and we ain't close to that.
No.
So now all of a sudden it sounds like somebody comes back after avoiding the LTIR. You come back before the season's over, and now all of a sudden we have to sweat some muscular pull because he's trying too hard.
Maybe they're learning their lesson from 2 years ago when he was out and came back in the playoffs and lasted one shift.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a beast.
That was brutal.
And so maybe they're being a little.
Yep. Was that against Dallas?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they play.
Yeah, DeBoer just really lost nights. He had sleepless nights with that whole thing.
Did we win a face-off the rest of the series?
They put us in a freaking straitjacket in that series, and I don't care if we had Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, you're right.
So Rossi and Boldy obviously needed to carry the scoring somewhat during this time.
100%.
Yeah, neither Ross.
9 games.
It's 9 for Rossi, hasn't scored a goal, and Boldy hasn't scored in 10. Gripping the stick a little too tightly up there,
well,
Patrick?
I think so. Well, and that's where it goes to, like, I have to do it. And
hyperventilating.
Yeah,
Yep.
right? And instead of just playing the way that they play.
Yeah.
And
what's an attitude change?
That's why I go back to my initial point, how critical it is on the power play. Because those are the guys that are on the power play. They have to execute on the power play.
Agreed.
And get it going, from that perspective.
Well, any idea why they're not? Because that's next level, and we are not next level here 9 to noon, and you are.
Well, you're pressing. You're pressing.
I am?
No.
Oh, they
are.
Okay.
They are.
Of course I'm pressing.
And
that's what a journalistic bulldog does. When it tells everybody they're wrong with A-Rod.
Can I start calling you bulldog?
Journalistic bulldog on this thing.
Journalistic bulldog. But no, I think you press too much and you try too hard.
Yeah.
And instead of letting their natural abilities come natural.
Yeah.
And
it's an attitude change that's required.
No question about it. And I think honestly,
what's your number?
It's a 6, but it's really a 4. I just don't want to talk about it.
But just the presence of the guys that are out really make a big difference.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, rumor has it Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, and Brodsey are pretty important to the Covenant.
Yeah.
It's the attitude change part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, maybe you beat the LA Kings tonight and the attitude changes for the better, but then in the next one, if you give up 2 goals,
and then
snowflake terrorism all of a sudden up on you, can't even look people in the eyes. You're worried they're talking about you.
And then you get in the conundrum of, there's guys on the back end that can contribute offensively.
Yeah.
Middleton, Faber, Spurgeon. Now, you might want to say, well, let's get them a little bit more involved in the offense, add that extra layer. But then on the flip side of that, you're saying, okay, we really got to tighten it up. Mm-hmm. We can't give up any because we know, we're going to have to score 2 and not give up 3. So we got to really defend. So there's that.
Yeah, it's the give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a push and a pull.
So it's like, what is the best way for us to win a hockey game? And
probably trade for better players.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, that's the STIR. I'm not STIR. I'm long-term IR.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not short-term guy.
You're not short. You're good.
No.
And you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
And I'm not either. And I don't know enough about what's going on.
So clamoring for the Brocs at the trade deadline, whether it was Nelson or Besser, you mentioned Rantanen, that's short-term thinking. Yeah. Is that what we're getting at here?
Yeah.
So Nelson went for a first-round pick, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen.
No, and he's 30-some years old. You're going to have to re-sign him.
Well, did the Wild even have their first or their second at some point? Did we give up a second for Gustav, maybe?
Gave up a second.
We were a little shorthanded on our draft equity.
Yeah. We did what?
Yeah, gave up a second for him.
Gustav Nyquist, second time around here. That Gustav Nyquist?
Yeah, that particular was.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
On the Quasi train. The Blues, by the way, have scored 15 times their last 2 games.
They got 7 last night.
Yep. Are they poised to pounce and potentially blow by us like we're tied to a post?
Well, it doesn't matter if they do or not, as long as...
Sure it does. They have better attitudes.
Well, right now they do.
It matters.
Yeah, but they gave up 7 the other night in Pittsburgh, too, before they came in here. Mm-hmm. So they are playing better. I'm not... when I look at the 2 teams on paper, and we have our team and they have their team, this team I think is better, especially defensively with our top 4 defensemen. Now we only have 3 of them in, but it makes a huge difference when you're playing top 6 minutes or bottom 6 minutes. Completely different mindset, and because if you're in the top 6, you're playing against the best, the top 4D on the other team. A little bit different than playing against, a bottom 6 pair. And so
I got you.
And that's why I hate the term next man up, because there ain't no way, and that it's next man up.
The next man is up. He just may not perform as well as the man who's down.
Right. And so anyone who tells you, next man up, and he's just going to take it's completely wrong and false.
Whatever happened to Yurichek? I mean, did they find him in an empty warehouse in San Antonio that cost $18 million a month?
Well,
I always loved that one.
He's a former, I don't know how high he went in the draft. I think 8, 9, something like that. I don't even know, in the first round.
Healthy scratch, though.
Yeah, healthy scratch. Young still. Yeah. Still has to become a better skater.
Okay.
And
that's good to know.
And so I think they're working with, I think the upside to him is he can shoot the puck. He's big, strong, and
great asset.
And
6th overall.
But he's what Nardo, 22, 21 or 22 years old.
He turns 22 in November.
So you're talking the kid could still be in college.
Good.
Or if he went to I better not say it. I'll get in trouble.
What, med school?
No.
It'd be nice to have a player who went to med school that can actually operate on.
There's guys in college hockey that are 26 years old.
I understand that.
You're trying to go after Horns Up.
I'm not. Did I?
Watch him in the tourney, Pat.
Did I say that?
Horns Up? Is Horns Up even in the tourney?
Yeah.
Well, they're in already.
Don't call it a comeback. They've never been gone.
In fact, if I will be doing their championship game this Friday night.
Well, let's hold off on that because we have some college hockey around the corner with our beloved McDuckett, plus some other frivolity. It's nearing the midway point of the Monday 9 to noon presentation on your favorite radio station, KFAN. You're on TV Friday?
I am.
What you got? What you doing?
CCHA championship game between the Tommies of St. Thomas.
Oh, good.
And
Mankato.
Yes.
Okay.
Minnesota State.
Now, Tommies can't go to the NCAA tournament,
they cannot,
right?
So automatic.
Well, this is their championship game.
This is it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Skull
2 teams that don't like each other.
Right. Why don't they like each other?
I don't know. They battle.
Yeah, the Mavericks didn't even know St. Thomas had a hockey team until the schedule came out. So, I'm simply saying because it's so new.
Ouch.
It's St. Thomas, Tommy Hockey, Division 1 is new.
Well, 5 years.
That's still new.
4 years.
How long the Mavericks been around?
Long time.
Yeah, they've been D1 maybe low mid-90s.
Yep.
Box.
Okay, so where can we watch that?
It's on Midco Sports.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like KFAN the Plus. You got to be right next to the arena to be able to see it.
That's not, no, they it'll be.
Midco.
I
your
think
college
parts
hockey
of.
pro.
I think parts
I know it ain't sponsored by Taco John's. That closed in St. Peter.
It did.
I thought for a second Corin Robinson might have run his car into it.
Don't
I
worry.
always loved
There's
that one.
5 Taco Johns in Mankato.
At 10:34, I'd like to pose this for Hockey Immortality because he's the now, he's the future, but he also is part of the past. Al McAdam
Yes,
turned
buddy.
73 years of age over the weekend.
Yes.
Now, for the new schoolers, who is Al McAdam, whose real first name was Reginald? Reggie McAdam would have been a badass name, but he went with his middle name, Al McAdam. And what distinguished his NHL career?
He was a gentle. I don't want to call him a giant, but but he had really good size, and he was the nicest person I've met in professional hockey.
But he wasn't terrible. He was good.
He was really good. He was really good.
Yep.
But you didn't want to mess with Al,
Really?
because he could throw him. So I think everybody knew that too. Yep. Don't mess with him. But I my first training camp with the North Stars.
Yeah.
I mean, he just kind of took me under his wing and showed me the ropes.
Wow.
And just a wonderful,
That's sweet.
wonderful person. You wouldn't think, I mean, he was just like that, but you didn't. He could throw him. He could throw him with the best of them.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to mess with Al.
He's the worst kind of guy to fight.
Yes.
Yeah, because you just don't know what's coming because he's kind and gentle. He turns the other cheek until you slap one of his cheeks and you did it the wrong way, and then he whoops on that butt.
Exactly. And just a wonderful person. So happy birthday to Al.
And that was yesterday, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday, Al McAdam, Hockey Immortality, not only locally, but nationally, he won the Masterson. 73 years of age. That's cool. Now, the clip on Twitter to which you reacted is what triggered this for me. It had Glenn Sonmore on the call. Okay. Now, again, it's
Glenn Sonmore behind the bench.
behind the bench. Thank you. Behind the bench.
Yes.
And why does Sonmore have a home so deeply rooted in your heart?
Well, I mean, first of all, no one loves the Gophers more than Glenn Sonmore. Got his break with the Gophers in coaching.
Right.
And he was fiery. He has he had the best personality. He could tell stories till you're blue in the face, and every one of them had you on the floor rolling. And he was just genuinely a wonderful human being.
That's great.
Yeah.
I could tell by following the tweet machine flying back from the Mile Get High City that touched you. That not only Al McAdam, like, here's the rat from out Hibbingway. And, before injury, I mean, you the long, prosperous whatever was in front of you. And I could tell you had reverence for Al McAdam. And then, like what you said about Sonmore, listening to you, putting his arm around you, talking to you and stuff. I just thought that was cool.
Well, whenever you go into a new team or a new environment, there's, I don't want to call it nerves, but you're a little anxious.
Yes, sir.
And to have somebody, I remember going into the University of Minnesota, even though I grew up at the University of Minnesota with my brothers.
And you were the rat before Ken Linsman was the rat.
But they weren't there anymore, right? So there's, so when you're first going in, it's different.
Yeah.
And same with when I signed with the North Stars. You're watching these guys. Oh, and then you're in the same room with them. Mm-hmm. And, they're the guys that you look up to, and all of a sudden you're part of them. So it takes a while, and to have a guy like that just say,
"That's sweet.
Come here, kid."
Now, are they ever going to do the Frozen Four tournament draw? I mean, when? I know, probably not Sunday because you don't want to get clipped on by
28 days
basketball.
away. Can you believe that?
What?
28 days away.
The draw or the tournament?
The tournament is 20. Yeah, the draw will be
28 days away.
Yeah, this Sunday. And
I thought the sucker's usually over.
It's the debate, the whatever you want to call it. Every
it's the
year,
hullabaloo.
They don't want to.
They don't want to compete with the NCAA basketball tournament.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they want to be on a major network or not network, cable,
Yeah.
ESPN.
Oh.
So the regionals themselves, they start in like 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then there's a
Week
week
from Thursday,
off
maybe.
before the Frozen Four.
That's what gets you.
Which
Okay.
really
So
gets you.
Sunday's the draw for the tournament.
Yes.
This upcoming Sunday.
Yes.
All right. Now, help me with this, if you're so inclined.
Sure.
Something called Bentley
Yes.
plays Holy Cross for the American Hockey Association title. What's Bentley and where did it come from?
They went Division One, I believe, 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, so they're like the Tommies. They can beat Holy Cross and not get into the tournament.
No, they can get in.
Oh, how's that work? They started last year.
Well, because
This is
St. Thomas
crazy.
went Division One in all sports,
Oh.
which is different. Like Bentley, like Augustana, even though they're in their second, third year.
Yeah. Are they the Gusties or the Johnnies?
They're the Skull.
Oh, the Skull.
They're the Vikings.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it was Gustavus Adolphus.
I don't know.
Or are you talking Augustana, South Dakota?
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah. You're
I'm
bad.
still in St. Peter mode.
That's okay. And so Augustana was eligible to get in because they only went in one sport.
Okay.
St. Thomas went in. It's crazy.
I got you.
It makes no sense.
Right. All right. So Bentley. Where is Bentley?
Massachusetts.
Really?
And I don't
East
believe.
Coast bias.
Yeah, their first year in Division One. I don't know if they scored a goal. I
Really?
mean, honestly. And they have risen in the Atlantic Hockey League Association. And now they have a crack at it.
Good. Ohio State at Michigan State Saturday for the Big Ten crown. So this is taking longer than normal, right?
Oh boy, yes.
Okay. Maybe in closing here, I don't know, maybe you talked about it last week, like 3 weeks before you play again for Motzko's bunch.
Yep.
But, the other side of it, the serendipity, the positives that can come out of getting bounced by Notre Dame, which was a 7. Maybe Motzko's squad is getting healthy and happy and will make one massive run to hockey immortality. Do you see it that way?
I think they're going to be fine. It really, you talk about getting healthy. Look at the other side. They lost Aaron Hughlin in that Notre Dame series for the remainder of the year, which is really tough and hard for him. He's a senior and someone they count on.
That sucks.
Yeah. But I think, the 3 weeks goes fast and they went out of town this past weekend. They went down to Rochester, had a scrimmage, visited an elementary school and did that kind of stuff. And so they're trying to, but it's, you want to keep playing at this time of the year. You don't like 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
So that first period in the first regional game is critical for them to get back.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, they should be full of fire and healthy and happy.
They should be ready to go.
Shoot.
And
Are you kidding me? So you're like, you don't want to stop working at this time of the year? I look at a 3-year break, 3 week break into something.
No,
well, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, not for maybe for us broadcasters. Yeah, we get a little break, but no. So I think that's critical, and there's a very, very, very good chance they will play Minnesota State in the opening round.
Wow, I mean, you're just discounting the Tommies, right?
Tommies can't play.
Oh, that's right. So the Mavs are in period.
Do we have to go through this again?
Oh, no, I mean, it's the whole thing's stupid.
Yes.
Okay, so St. Thomas has been around for 5 years but can't get in. Something called Bentley rolls in last year and they can get in.
Well, 3 years ago, but yes.
Okay, but it's dumb.
Yes, it's very dumb.
See you next week, all right?
Yep,
if you got some time.
Thank you.
Yep, you're elite. That's Pat Micheletti at PatMick2626 via Twitter. Please follow him as 9 to Noon does if you are so inclined. And you're listening to KFAN.
News due north. Brought to you by The Casino. Not just a casino, but it is indeed The Casino at Canterbury Park down in Shakopee. It's poker, blackjack, table games all year round. You're having sips at Chips, and you're checking on Derek Allen's schedule so you could tip him generously.
He works tonight at 5 Chips Bar in the Card Casino. Say hi to Senor Smiley and tip him well.
Oh, how about a little 3-6 and some sips at Chips? Let's do it.
That's the best.
Live racing a couple of months away from now. Patiently awaiting that. Derby Day festivities. I mean, it's my favorite spot in Shakopee. I say it all the time, but get there, please.
And somewhere around there, I believe there's a pastrami fry.
Oh, come on.
I'll just stop it. I'm sorry. It's St. Patty's Day. It's a pastrami fry. Hey, that's the con back there in the corner. I think I'll go say hi.
Pastrami, corned beef.
Yeah,
It is
my
truly
oh my, show am good.
Not too bad. Sadly, and we've chronicled this, but I will just reiterate the Minnesota Wild, tough one for them. It was 5-1 over the weekend. Jordan Kyrou with the empty net hat trick goal. But they're still very much in this mix, and the basics of just winning at home and assuring yourself a playoff spot still very much in play. But they got to beat the Kings. They got to beat la 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 and the visiting LA squad tonight. But make it 3 in a row this week. Let's go Kings into Kraken into Sabres. Oh my, make it 3 for 3 before you head on the road, I believe, to Dallas. And then Vegas back here after that. So let's not look too far ahead. Let's go 3 for 3 and find ourselves bolstering our playoff spots, adding some points this week. That's a 7 p.m. puck drop. The Wolves tonight. They made it 8 in a row yesterday by absolutely obliterating the visiting Utah Jazz, and now it's Halliburton and the Pacers. Halliburton healthy? Do we know if Halliburton's healthy?
Tyrese Halliburton is questionable for this evening's game.
Ooh, Neesmith is questionable too.
With a sore back. Now, see, this is a key time of the year for those who follow the association because you're getting teams reprimanded and admonished like the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I mean, come on with this with Markkanen, and Collins is out for the year. Okay, what's up with Kessler? You know, he'll play 37 minutes, block 10 shots, then you can't find him for a week.
Right.
So the commissioner, you know, he senses teams are playing games, trying to jostle for position in the ping pong ball battle for the draft. But on the other side of it, there are teams looking to avoid this that are playing players less than they should be playing in close games.
Yep.
And it's functioning tankability that is traceable but unpunishable.
Right.
Like, for instance, the Toronto Raptors. Okay, I don't know how far they're out of the play-in bit. I think they're relatively close because the Eastern Conference sucks. But they've had problems all year with Emmanuel quickly missing time. He's out. Jakob Poeltl just came back, but he's missing time.
They're 4.5 out.
R.J. Barrett missed a large chunk of time. And Scotty Barnes, their best player, he's been in and out. All right. So there are several teams that are on the radar of the NBA for the functioning tankability. Why don't you go ahead and pull up that Raptors-Blazers box score from yesterday?
All right, got it right. Here it is.
Okay, now this is what functioning, uncatchable tankability looks like. All of the best Raptors minutes are all in the 20s.
Yeah, they are.
In a 3-point game that was tight every step of the way and came right down to the wire. So we ain't going to play our best players 35 or above.
How about backup center Orlando Robinson leading the team with 30 minutes?
There you go.
And he went 4 of 12.
There you go. Yeah, and they got this cat named A.J. Lawson. I think he played up in the 30s. Meanwhile, he
had 33. That's my bet. He led the team in minutes.
And he's off the bench. Okay, so let me get this. So whomever coaches this team, let me get this straight. Your bench players play more minutes than your starters. Yet your starters are all playing, so therefore we can't come after you with functioning tankability.
Yeah.
But it's a super close game. We watched it very closely in Secaucus, and it's just strange when you pull these players out of games, man. It's like you go on an 8-0 run. The Raptors have cut the lead to 2. Oh, their entire starting lineup's out. Here comes something called Orlando Robinson and A.J. Lawson to play the final 8. So they're actually managing the minutes of all of their best players and playing their subs as much, if not more, than their starters. They couldn't care less about the play-in clip. They know if they get into the play-in and happen to win, they're probably going to lose the second one.
Right.
They're not going to beat Boston or Milwaukee, so they're starting to cast their gaze the way of the offseason. I can't say I've ever seen anything like this. Playing your best players who actually legitimately are available less than you're playing some of your key reserves. That's what in-game tanking looks like in 2025.
Well, and how about this? Then we have to give some respect to the Portland Trailblazers. Now, they won a game that maybe they don't want to win because they would be doing the same thing. They don't have Jeremy Grant. They don't have DeAndre Ayton right now.
Yep.
but they only played Matisse Thybulle 6 minutes off the bench.
Yeah.
So clearly it was like, we need Klingon 30 plus, and he's still, he's just a disaster offensively, but he's guaranteed for 14 or 15 rebounds. Anthony Simons, they got Shaden Sharp. Scoot, 30 minutes off the bench, went 2 of 12. His shooting is so abysmal.
Yeah.
Sorry for anybody that's relying on Scoot on a regular basis, fantasy-wise. That's the correct way to try and tank. And they did everything they could. If you would have even gotten 5, give Jamal Shed 30 minutes, and the Raptors win that game, potentially.
But see, the Blazers are coached by somebody who has NBA long equity and pride and self-respect in the way the game's supposed to go. That's Chauncey Billups.
Man, Pierre is silly, man.
Former NBA Finals MVP.
Indeed.
So he's treating it with respect, playing his 5, who are preferred the most, his key reserve, Scoot Henderson, the most minutes, and he's treating it like a real game. Meanwhile, Toronto is in-season, in-game tanking. It's novel. It's enterprising. I got to give them credit for coming up with something new in an age where nobody comes up with anything new. And they're executing it to perfection. Very well done.
Indeed. So that's your Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. And then later this week, PA, they do have a couple in a row against Zion Williamson and the Pelicans.
Yes.
Zion's constantly in and out. Then you're back at Indy. So really, it's the Pacers and the Pels, the next 4. Chance to win 9, 10, 11 in a row. By the way, I saw this on X yesterday, and I did not check it for total to-the-date accuracy, but this 8-game streak, it's like the longest in 2+ decades. So that's the kind of the run that they're on, and they're clowning the bad teams. They're just 3.5 games from being in second, still battling their way out of the play-in with Golden State, who, I don't know how much you watched of that, Knicks and Golden State over the weekend.
A lot.
Man, Josh Hart, he's such a good player, but he was disastrous in that game. And Cat had a little bit of turnstile to him, although he was lighting up. The stat sheet came down to the wire.
Until he needed to stop Draymond Green off his left-handed dribble.
Did you see that thing?
Yes. That's what rings look like compared to in-season excellence, regular season excellence, is Draymond blew by him with his left-handed dribble like he was tied to the proverbial post and made a layup and put the team to sleep.
Now, I will say this. Do you think Draymond does that against anybody? Or do you think there's a little bit of that Cat Draymond vibe that maybe led to a little bit more motivation for a guy that's very much far down the back 9 of his career?
Yeah, can't answer that. All I can answer is they're 14-1 since they traded for Jimmy Butler. And the Warriors host Denver tonight. Then they get Milwaukee at home. Then they have Toronto at home. So they have 3 in a row at home, and we're 2/100 percentage points behind them.
Yeah, 2,000.
Yeah,
I think
2,000.
We have one fewer win, and so that's
they have a game or two in hand. The Timberwolves, this Indy team they get tonight, with Halliburton or not, it's a very well-coached team that has a couple of scrappers people may remember from college basketball days gone by, and Aaron Nesmith and Aaron Nemhard.
One more win, one more loss we have. They got 2 to play on top of us.
And Miles Turner, when engaged, can block, what's up, brother? Can block 6 shots and hit some threes. Pascal Siakam is somebody with whom Chris Finch is very familiar, for Chris was on the bench when Siakam played for the Toronto Raptors. Little TJ McConnell running around doing his thing. So this is not Utah. This is not bunk San Antonio. This is a squared away Eastern Conference playoff team. And if you and you don't have something on them like you do Denver. All right, the way they take away Joker's passing lanes and then change the game plan the next time. The Timberwolves have something on the Nuggets that the Nuggets are really, really, really having trouble getting around. That's not the case with Indiana because you just don't see them frequently enough. It's a sleepy Monday night in the cornfields. Not sure what the crowd will be like. But this is, they're when 9 to Noon proclaimed a couple of weeks ago after the Timberwolves had won 3 in a row, they got 2 games in here because they'll beat Denver, is what you were told. If they can win at Miami, because beating Spo is not easy, and then they can win at home against Indiana, they're going to win 11 in a row. And this is the newest, biggest one in the bunch because they should beat New Orleans twice, depending on what's up with Zion. But Timberwolves and Warriors, same record, got games in hand going the other way. And Warriors have the Nuggets tonight. Steph Curry's questionable. Milwaukee and Toronto at home this week.
Maybe later in the final hour, PA, with some Vikes bites. Cornerback, former Lion, and I forget who he was most recently with. I think Houston.
Yep.
Jeff Okudah is in the building. Want to learn more? Rondale Moore did a visit with the Vikings, and nothing has popped since then.
Oh, wow.
There are a couple of NFL-wide contracts, including, speaking of the Texans, Derek Stingley and a $90 million extension. Wow, completely resetting the cornerback market. Some cool NFL bits that I'll have for you during the final hour. That's News to Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park.
And who also is in the building is a young man named Parker Fox, who is a game-changing basketball player. His season has come to a conclusion. Rondale Moore, you say? Oh, that Rondale Moore. 3 receivers to the left, Chase Edmonds to the left of Kyler. A.J. Green, sole alone to the right, opposite Bashad Breeland. Here's Stephen Weatherly running in untouched on Kyler, who sprints away to the left, and he throws to an uncovered man. It's Rondale Moore at the 40. Vikings 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals. It is a 77-yard touchdown. Kyler Murray to Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore! Who knew?
We're coming. We're coming.
Pete Fox around the corner on some basketball and more on KFAN.